Buenos tardes, Teresa. Nice to see
How
you.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm so glad that we have this time to talk about Robert. Robert is such a pleasure to have in class, and he's very curious and active, and he interacts great with his peers. We play Spanish music in class, and Robert seems to really blossom during these times, and he loves to include his friends in dancing and singing the language. He loves interacting with his friends and playing with a variety of different toys. I have you seen the books, resources for the parenting books and the children's books that I sent out?
No.
If not, I have a copy here for you. Here's the parenting books, and then here is the children's books
Thank
that
you.
may be helpful for you. I know you are trying to learn English better, and so there's some resources for you. I also know you got Dad left a while ago, and so I provided some resources there for you. And then let's get into talking about Robert's progress. So he is just such a joy to have in class. He's very, very interactive. This is the checklist for his 18 months, and he's hitting most of these milestones that he needs to be doing. He plays with his friends, and he plays pretend. He clings to caregivers. He explores alone. One thing that I did notice, though, that he doesn't have 6 English words, but I was wondering maybe if you noticed how many Spanish words he had, because that might be the bridge in the difference in what we're gonna see when we talk later down here.
Okay.
So, do you realize, think that he has more than 6?
Yes, I think so.
Spanish words
When
that he
needs
uses
food,
frequently.
he can say different foods.
Okay.
And when he needs water, he can ask for water. He knows please and thank you in Spanish. So anything, I've never really noticed him not speaking.
Okay, perfect.
Not English, but he does speak
That's
Spanish
what we
at home.
want to see. So, like I said, speaking to him in your native language at home is great. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here.
Of course.
So, yes, that is great to hear. So I can take that concern away. I do know he has a few English words, but it is still very new for him. So it's not something that I would expect to be happening yet anyway.
Yes, we don't really speak English at home, so we can work on that.
I know you're still learning. In the handout I provided for the children's books, there are a few books that have both the English and the Spanish translation for reading, maybe for before bed and stuff like that. Okay, so let's go. It's so social, emotional. He's hitting all the milestones he needs to hit. The only thing that I have noticed is that he doesn't point. He doesn't point when he needs something. He more uses his whole hand instead. So that's just a fine motor skill thing that we're gonna see throughout this. And but yeah, no, social emotionally, he is doing absolutely great. Hits all those things. Now in language and communication, he does shake his head no. Again, we see that pointing again. He's not pointing. And then if you say he's saying several Spanish words, I'm not too worried about. The English will come the more he's around it. So I'm not concerned about that. So then we'll move into cognitive and learning. He knows what things are for. He's interested in dolls and pretends to feed them. I know he has a sister, so that doesn't surprise me. Again, we are with the pointing and pointing to a body part. And then he also has a hard time holding the crayons and the pens and stuff when we are doing art projects. He does really well with the gluing projects, but he struggles with scribbling. So maybe if we can incorporate some kind of coloring with him at home, that might help with that skill. He has some trouble with following directions when I'm telling him to sit down, but that again could just be him not understanding. I do try to speak some Spanish words that I know, but I know very few Spanish words. So I do try to incorporate what I can. So we can go from there, and then we'll move on to physical movement and physical. He's meeting all the milestones there. The only thing is that I've noticed with that one is that he likes to eat with his hands instead of his spoon, and that again is a skill that we can build on and work towards.
Can you explain that one more time?
Yes. Hold on one
Sorry,
second.
I was not understanding that last part.
Can you say he eats with his hands instead of using a spoon in Spanish, please? Oh. Sorry.
It's okay. Está bien.
Come con las manos en lugar de usar una cuchara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
if we can work maybe with him with a spoon at home too, or getting him to feed himself more, that would be another thing. But again, with a transition like that and what is going on at home, I understand that the things are like that. There are a few behavior things that we need to discuss. I have noticed that he gets really touchy around a certain time of day. And this is when he may attempt to bite his friends. Our teachers are really good about staying on top of it, and it is very normal for this age range. Another thing I've noticed is that when he gets frustrated, he likes to throw the toys, and that is another thing that we need to address. And we've been working on things with him and trying to get him to understand that when we throw the toys, it is an unsafe situation. I know that you and his father have separated recently, and these behaviors could just be from stress from that, and that is totally normal. We just try to communicate what is happening and why it's not safe, and he seems to have that sympathy and understanding when we discuss it, and does actually change the behavior. It's been very moderate, but we want to make sure that we stay on top of it. And then I want to again say he's been such a pleasure to have in class. You can really tell when he gets engaged with things, and he loves hanging out with his friends and interacting with them, which is great to see, especially for somebody who is learning a new language, that he gets along so well with interacting with the other students and stuff. And he seems to be picking up a lot of our of English, and really is learning. We have Spanish and English labels on everything, and I try my best to incorporate both languages in counting and colors and things like that. Do you have any questions for me?
I'm just really glad to hear how he's doing in the class, and I really am hearing those concerns, and we're gonna work on them at home for sure.
Oh, that
I don't have any questions at the moment.
Okay, and then also just for future cases, may I ask you for validation on pronunciation of words every now and then? That would be very helpful for me to incorporate more Spanish words into my classroom.
And vice versa, if I'm needing to practice English at home, can I ask you for maybe some terms you use at school?
Yes, of course. I'm so glad that we were able to meet. And like I said, Robert is doing so well. I have a couple other resources here for you. And then you can take this home, and then so you can also look at it and see if there's something else. And then I've also on the back is the the Spanish translated version for you,
Thank you
so
so
that it is easier
much.
for you to understand what is happening in the sheet.
Thank
And
you.
this is just a normal sheet that you would get from your
Mhm.
pediatrician for the development for your son at 18 months.
Okay.
So I know it's a little early, so that again, the things he's not. Don't worry too much about the things he's not hitting. He still has 3 more months until he's actually 18 months, and also not every child hits every single point. So it's just helpful to check it so that we can make sure that we're doing all the things that we can do to further him forward and get him where he needs to be.
Thank you so
that
much.
would be great.
Okay.
I'm so glad that we got to meet, and I can't wait to see Robert tomorrow.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you so much. Have a good
great
day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.